So we're going to go and call to order the Practice and Education meeting for today, November 20th. We will do a roll call first. Dr. Chawla. Dr. Chawla?
Present.
Oh, perfect. Great.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you. Dr. McIntyre?
Here.
And Dr. Wong, that's me, here. So we have quorum. The next item on the agenda is public comments for items not on the agenda. Moderator, if you could open it up for our public comments, please.
Yes, this is the moderator. I am now opening up the Q&A, and I will read the instructions on how to use the Q&A. I'll read it thoroughly for the first time, and then the next times we will do a very brief instructions. So to facilitate public comment, we will be utilizing the WebEx question and answer feature. When the chair reaches a point in the agenda at which public comment is appropriate, public comment will be requested. At the committee's direction, I will turn on and announce the opening of the Q&A feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by clicking on the icon with a question mark within a square located at the bottom right corner of their WebEx screen. These instructions are currently on the screen and will be shared each time for your reference. In the Ask field, typically in the lower right of the WebEx screen, members of the public who wish to make a public comment will type, "I would like to make a public comment," and send it to all panelists. Any other communication will not be responded to. Members of the public, it is not necessary to identify yourselves in order to make a public comment. I will take comments in the order that they are received. I will call on the member of the public and unmute their microphone. The member of the public will have 2 minutes to make their comments, and I will provide a 10-second time warning before the time is up. At the conclusion, the microphone will be muted and we'll move on to the next individual that has requested to make a comment. Please note that the Q&A feature is being used only as a means for the members of the public to represent that they would like to make a verbal comment. Once unmuted, the member of the public may verbally state their comment. This is not a means to ask questions of the moderator or members of the committee. Such inquiries submitted using this feature will not be responded to. If any attendees utilize profane names, they will not be called upon to prevent members of the public from being subjected to profane language. While you are free to express criticism for the sake of the members of the public participating on the call, please do not use profane language when making comments to the committee. Thank you. And at this moment, I am checking for any requests. I have no requests that have been submitted. Would you like me to close the Q&A feature?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will now go on to item number 3 on the agenda, discussion and possible action on continuing education course approval. We can start. So I guess maybe we'll start off with Dr. Chawla and Dr. McIntyre. Do you have any comments about any items that were on the continuing education courses?
Deborah, why don't you go first? I'm pulling up some things on my computer.
Okay. I got a little confused because some of the classes are using, there's an agenda for the classes, and there were 2 agendas presented for the same series of courses.
Mm-hmm.
It was on May 20th, I think, of 2020, and the timing was different on each of them. So some of the courses were asking for an hour of education, but yet on one of the agendas was only being presented for 30 minutes. But then there was an additional agenda that did have them speaking for an hour. So there's just a little agenda confusion. I mean, do we just throw out the one? I mean, they're the same day, same classes, but the timing was different. So what was it? I don't quite know what to do with it. I was getting really confused. And it had to do with artificial intelligence in eye care. And then the other were
Oh, so the SIP with docs we're not even talking about those because they're incomplete applications.
Okay, that's fine. And that was an agenda issue too.
Yeah.
That was the only problem I had with item 3 on the agenda, our agenda, was that there were 2 different agendas shown with that class, one only showing half an hour presentation and one was an hour.
I'm sorry, which one was that one? Was that number 3?
That artificial intelligence and eye care,
Okay.
our agenda item 3.
Yes.
So I just think we need to confirm that really was a 1 hour class and not a 30-minute one, because if they're applying for a full hour.
Right. Okay. And my only other thing was that item number 4E, laser vision by, 4E is updates of diagnosis and management of keratoconus. And then item number 5A, they were IQ laser vision. They were both submitted by Mr. Nick Valmores.
Mm-hmm.
They're the same. So, but
right.
So I guess my question is, so one is online and one was live. Okay. So I was just a little bit confused because he's requesting, I guess, 2 different ones. So I wasn't sure if just because one was online and the other one was live, or if that application just got put in twice. But it's the exact same talk, same PowerPoints and everything. I mean, it's for the same amount of time. So I was just confused. So that's item 4E and 5A. So the one that's laser vision. So laser vision and IQ laser vision.
That's 4F actually, Lillian. That's the one I was in.
4F.
Yeah,
Sorry.
4F, and yeah, that was my question as well. So.
And I had another one with an hours question on 5A.
5A.
They're asking for 3 hours.
I'm gonna look at it. Let me pull that one up.
That's going to be a laundry workshop.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So a 5A is the collaborative cataract patient care.
Oh, 5H.
Oh, 5H. Okay, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one. So my question for that one was, how long is the live demo? So I agree with you, Deborah, in that they're asking for 3 hours, and I wanted to know how much of it was the actual demonstration for the cross-linking, because in the past we have not granted CE for surgeries, just watching surgeries, because you can do that on YouTube. So I guess, so there's a couple. So there's 5H, which I think we need to find out how long the optical surgery or the cross-linking observation will be. We can find out about item 3 and find out if it really is 1 hour, 30 minutes. And then I was just confused by the 5A and 4F being on the agenda twice. Dr. Chawla, do you have any other courses that you're concerned about?
No, there's nothing else. There's just, I don't know if there's any way, speaking on the topic of if there's a way for us to give guidance in advance to people who put in things for, like these surgical things, because they seem to come up periodically.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if there was a way for us to give any guidance. I don't know if someone can, if it's even possible that someone sees that and says, because they need to be specific,
Correct.
So that's my only comment on that. But I don't have it. Everything else I thought was okay.
Would that have to be like on the application if you're?
I think that's where it would have to, because you can't, a board staff member, who knows if it'll be the same staff member, and that's kind of a lot of responsibility to give to someone. So if there's like, it doesn't have to be anything fancy, but just like if you're going to ask for surgical time, that we don't, just like what you're saying, we don't give credit for that.
Right.
So just if you, it's fine for them to include that as part of the education, but the awarding for time would be on the lecture part, not the you watch surgery part.
Well, when I was looking at that one course, the live surgery one, I looked at the number of pages in the actual presentation. So the non-surgical, the non-workshop portion of it, and compared it to another class that had this exact same number of pages in its presentation, and they were asking for 1 hour. So that kind of gives us a guideline, whereas the lecture probably was worth 1 hour. So what then is the workshop or the live surgical part going to be worth? Comes back to the same question again, but I just want to give an idea of what the lecture presentation portion was worth as far as credits go.
So I guess some people might talk longer on their slides than others, but
Oh yeah.
So I think just for us, I think for that one we just probably have to have staff go back and contact them and find out how long the observation part is and how long the lecture part is, and then just let them know that observation is not continuing education. So Shara, if we wanted to add anything onto the application, what would we have to do? No, Shara's here.
Or is there some other way, Shara, besides having the person answering the phone for this process, to just let people know that observing procedures is not going to count for education, just the slide talks and, traditional lecture components, whatever you think that would be the easiest way to get that information out to people, because we keep having the recurrent problem.
I apologize, committee members. I have a feeling that comment was directed to me. I had some very technical difficulties. I had to switch my system around. So what I'm hearing is observation of surgical or other procedures are an add-on to courses, but they cannot be within themselves courses. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. And the best way to communicate that, it might be that we change our form to simply note that, so that when folks are using the form to submit a course, it's clearly stated that that sort of sole observation will not be approved as a course as a standalone.
Well, so I guess, for this in particular one, it's a 3-hour course. And our question is, how much of the time is actually just spent on observation? Because you can't have 2 hours of observation and 1 hour of lecture and call it a 3-hour course. There's a lot of courses that have video embedded in them, and then they have like a 2-minute or a 5-minute video for you to watch, and that's fine. But if someone's applying for PE and they have an hour's worth of observation, that can be observation, but that can't be considered PE. So it's also whatever's in significant observation can't be considered continuing education. Does that make sense?
It does. And just to make sure that I am on the correct item, we are still on item 3. SoCal Miss Rachel Lopez, artificial intelligence and eye care.
No, this one is actually, so we were just going through all the courses trying to figure out which ones we had
Need to discuss.
correct. And this is for item number 5, H as in Harry.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. That was identified while I was not on. Give me just a moment.
Just an aside here on the incomplete apps, which we know they're incomplete, so we can't approve them yet. On 7D, it's called SIP with Docs, but that's not a course in and of itself. That's just the name of
That's the
the
name
other courses fall under.
that's the name of, he's calling it his course. It's an evening, I mean, I went to one of these. Dr. Mark Mandel was doing it in conjunction with Dr. Steve Faith. So it's Mandel's an ophthalmologist, cornea specialist. And so it's basically going over cases, and then and it was live so that he would take questions from people, and he called it Sip with Docs because he would have he encouraged people to have a cocktail with him while he was giving the course. So I think it's like 7 to 9 or 7 to 8. I can't remember how long it was, but it was more of it was case presentation. So he was not, I don't know if he presented exactly what cases he was going to talk about.
Well, here it just says corneal grand round, so, that makes sense.
So he talked about cataract surgery, different IOLs, complications with corneal transplants. So he had a variety of
Yeah, but I mean, even the title specifies that it's going to be that, so you would have to look within the documents for.
Correct.
Because I mean, we've had titles like a funny thing happened on the way to optometry clinic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about a walk. It's about, they're just, it's a silly title they're trying to be clever.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Shar, do you have any comments about 5H, or should we just put that on hold and then we can approve all the other courses that we don't have any, I guess, issues with? All right. So as of right now, Dr. Chal and Dr. McIntyre, let me know if I'm correct. So item number 3, Cell Eye by Ms. Roach, that's being submitted about the artificial intelligence in eye care. We're going to have staff reach out and find out if they really are applying for either 1 hour or 30 minutes of credit. I'm not quite sure what to do about item number 4F and item number 5A, both of which talk about IQ laser vision. One's an online and one I believe is live. So I'm not quite sure why it was submitted twice.
You had to. Maybe he thought because he was doing 2 different mediums that you had to, because it is the same talk. I was just looking through it again. So if I was guessing, I would think that perhaps he thought because he was doing it through 2 different forums, he had to do 2 different classes.
Okay.
I was just sifting through it, and it looks really identical, right?
It's the exact same talk.
Yeah.
So just one happens to be live. And then I just assumed that 5F, which is the online version, it's going to be online. So it'll just be online CE and not live CE. So, okay, then, I mean, both applications look fine. And then I guess the only other one that we have an issue with is item number 5H, as in Howard, which is the one about the cross-linking surgery workshop. And we need to find out how long the observation period is. So I will make a motion to approve items number 4A through 4G and items number 5A, so 5A, 5B, 5C, 5D, 5E, 5F, and 5G, 5I, 5J, 5K. So everything except for 5H.
Moved.
Oh, well, I have to state one more thing. I left this out on 5C. I couldn't find the number of hours that they had specified.
Hold up. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties here. 5C. Okay.
That was missing off of the application.
Sorry, I having problems getting the 5C. Madhu, can you find anything on 5? I don't.
Looking through it too right now.
Yeah. Sorry, is that 5C?
I don't see any.
Ugh, my internet is so slow today. Sorry.
I've looked again. It really should have gone in under incomplete applications.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see, or I can find it if it's there.
I apologize, members. That's 5C, and it does not have, what piece is it missing?
How many hours that they are applying for? Okay, so I'm going to make another motion then. Let's just start off with item 4. So we'll hold off on items 5C and items 5H. 5C, we need to find out how many hours they are applying for.
Are you making the motion or are you asking for a motion?
Okay, why don't I ask for a motion for items in section 4 of the agenda?
Okay, I move that we approve the items under section 4 for continuing education that are currently listed on today's agenda.
Right. So those would be items 4A through 4G.
Yes.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Take a vote. Dr. Chawla,
Aye.
Dr. McIntyre,
Aye.
and Dr. Wong, aye. So items 4A through 4G are approved. And then can I get a motion to approve items in section 5, all items with the exception of items 5C and 5H?
So moved.
Okay, and seconded.
Okay, and I'll take a vote. Dr. Chawla,
Aye.
Dr. McIntyre,
Aye.
and Dr. Wong, aye. So all items except for 5C and 5H will be approved. And then can I get another motion to approve items, courses in item 6, Kaiser Permanente. They're 6A1 and 6A2.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, Dr. Chawla,
Aye.
Dr. McIntyre. Can you say that one more time, Dr. McIntyre?
Aye.
Like she said, aye. There you go. Okay, and Dr. Wong, aye. So items in section 6 will be approved. And I believe we are not going to be talking about items in section 7 since they are currently incomplete. So we can move on to section 8, which is future agenda items. Moderator, can we open Q&A up?
Yes, this is the moderator. I'm going to open the Q&A at the request of the committee. Members of the public, and we'll have, thank you. If you would like to make a comment, please click on the Q&A icon at the bottom of your WebEx screen and type, I would like to make a comment, and send it to all panelists. And that's for future items, agenda items. This is the moderator. Chair, no requests have been submitted. Would you like me to close the Q&A feature?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think just to clarify for staff, we would like staff to reach out to Ms. Rachel Lopez, that's listed in item number 3, because we just need to know if they're applying for either 1 hour or if they're applying for 30 minutes worth of CE credit for that talk, since it's written both ways in the application. Item 5C, as in Charlie, we need staff to reach out to find out how many hours they're applying for. And then item 5H, as in Howard, we need to find out how much time of the 3 hours that they're applying for is actual observation versus talking, compared to the talking part. And then Charlotte, for future agenda items, do we need to talk about the glaucoma grand rounds that Ketchum? So can we put that on the next agenda also? And I think that is all, I believe. Unless Dr. McIntyre or Chawla, do you have anything that you want to talk about for the next meeting?
No, but the grand rounds is a good idea.
Okay, so I think we're going to move on to item 9 then for adjournment, unless I have any objections.
No. Is this the same line for the next call, or do you have to call back in, or how are we doing that?
I think there's a different link, isn't there?
There's a separate link. Yes, there is a separate link.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mark sent a different one. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. See
Thank you very much, committee members.
See you in a bit.
Okay, bye.
Bye.